game in a series introduces something new. The Civilization series is no different. The turn-based strategy series is already 25 years old and is now seeing its 6th core release. Certain games are best played on PC, and this definitely is one of those games. It's a true time sinker that really embraces the idea of, one more turn. And before you know it, it's well past midnight. We surely approve playing Civ 6, and we want to emphasize that with these 8 reasons. Without a doubt, the change that's easiest to recognize is the way cities are being developed. In the past, everything would happen on one tile, but now your city needs to be expanded to multiple tiles. The university, a commercial center, theater district, the barracks, everything needs to be built on a separate tile. With 12 districts to choose from and limited space, your choices are influential for the development of your civilization. It's also important to know that certain buildings can only be placed next to other certain buildings. And then there's the always imminent threat from outsiders. That neighboring city might attack you, and you don't want your most precious city developments to be vulnerable to their attacks. Unstacking of the cities adds an extra tactical layer, and it's a great way to ensure that no game will ever feel the same. Even though it's great to see cities expanding, it does put lots of emphasis on geography. The location where you will found your first city will influence your playstyle a lot. Some tiles offer bonuses to certain districts. That alone already shows that there's an ideal way to shape your city. The position of your civilization on the map is very likely to strongly influence your playstyle, whether you want it or not. Thankfully, you can build settlers that can found new cities on other locations to expand your empire. Based on their geographical location, you can decide to make one city fully focused on one particular job. Each turn you can choose to move your units around the map, but not all units are strong on their own. That's why you can combine units together. That defenseless settler that you're sending out to found a new city can be accompanied by some soldiers. This is especially useful when one of your neighboring factions has evolved their military power more than you did. Long-range units can keep off those barbarians, unit vehicle soldiers can do serious damage to tanks, and so on. Combining units can help you in offense and defense, and above all, it adds an interesting layer to the rock, paper, scissors system that's normally in place. Whether you want your city to be built around commerce, religion, or something else, it's all up to you. As the grand leader of your people, you can always decide what you want to research. These researches might unlock new expansions for your city, and you will gain new knowledge that will push your civilization towards the future. There are now 2 research trees, which gives you more choice while expanding your civilization. That's generally one of the strongest points in this new Civ. There are a lot more moments in this game where your choices influence the power of your civilization. And on top of your research, you get to switch laws whenever the political climate demands a change or simply because you want to. But this is civilization we're talking about. Obviously, you are not the only leader in the game world. There's a colorful selection of historic figures in the game, as we're used to. Each of them has their own agenda based on their own historical endeavors. However, they also have a hidden agenda. It's something that switches every time you play, and you can only discover it by watching their moves or even infiltrating their government. It's this aspect that makes each of the leaders a bit unpredictable. Thankfully, they communicate a lot, which often gives you insight in their likings, their desires, and perhaps even their political endgame. The diversity in leaders is great, but this is civilization we're talking about, so it's very likely an expansion pack will add more leaders next year.
Oh.
If you are focusing on religion a lot, you might attract the attention of some influential historical people. These great people were always suddenly unlocked in previous civilizations, but in Civ 6, however, there's a tab where you can see which great people are available. This is another thing that gives you a goal to work towards. And these great people are obviously limited, so you need to be faster than your opponents. This does make the introduction of these characters more structured. Above all, it gives you an idea of what you need to do, and we consider that to be a good thing. Civilization 6 is of course a slow-paced and turn-based strategy game that requires thinking and sometimes even waiting. But the waiting game is not that strong anymore. At any given moment, you can research your tech tree, change your laws, or focus on some smaller tasks that will boost your development. The map is scattered with resources to obtain, wonders of the world to be discovered, or cities to make deals with. And sure, sometimes you need to skip a few turns to wait for your research to be finished, but in general, there's always something going on to keep you busy. Have you ever played Civilization online against other players? These online games are real time sinkers that could last for 10 hours and would still not be finished. That's why they introduced scenarios. Instead of starting from scratch, you kick off with an existing faction that is already well on its way to success. Now it's your turn to finish the job and reach the objective. But of course, there are other players doing the same or even working against you. This is a fun addition to the multiplayer offering, and these multiplayer challenges only take 30 to 45 minutes each. So for once, you'll actually finish a multiplayer game in Civilization. We loved playing every minute of it, and the beauty of it all is that our campaign isn't even done yet. Potentially, you can play a game of Civilization for months or even years. And when you start a new game on a new map with another civilization, the rise of your empire will be completely different. No game will be the same, and that's the beauty of Civilization. And in Civ 6, you now have more control over the development of your religious, military, or cultural empire.
Irnen seheni ispai, merer seheni nanahu.